So here is Blackboard, and we are now in the world of project number 9, kitchen elevations. And today, class number 5, drawing detailed kitchen elevations. So this I think is an AutoCAD drawing of a dishwasher elevation. So if you, but now I think in our CAD blocks there that is already in there. But if at some point you want to show a dishwasher and you need one, this is a block for a dishwasher elevation. But what I want to look at is this project information here. And there's a blah 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 project summary over here. And then there's 2 sheets here. And I already downloaded them, so I'm not going to download them again. So this is going to be sheet number 5 in our set of drawings. And we've got, our kitchen elevations, and then I've got a little key plan over here to to show whoever's reading our drawings which elevations are which. So this is the goal. This is your goal for next week is to flush out these elevations. And then on this sheet, I've got some enlarged elevations. This is the one elevation here there's some millwork here, presumably a pantry, and then there's a double oven that is set within the millwork over here. This is the this is the elevation by the sink. So we flushed this out at one point, and here is that dishwasher when you're putting it in. But again, I believe it is now in our CAD blocks, so you don't have to download that from Blackboard. But if it's not in the CAD blocks, then you can download it. And then there is the key plan, and then this is the other elevation. This has got the stove here, or cooktop, and then the range up above. This is a built-in refrigerator, and then this is the side of the millwork that's got the pantry and then the double range there. You can sort of see the side of the double range. The handles for the 2 ovens are right there. And then this is an entrance to like the living room or the old uh, living room down here. So that this room down here. So when we were looking at this elevation, we're standing over here and you can see through this opening into the living room over there. Okay. So let's let's flush these out. Wait, I'm gonna put these drawings on my other screen just so I can refer to them and as I'm drawing. And I'm not gonna draw the whole kitchen. I'm always afraid that I'm boring you guys to death by you watching me draw. So I'm just gonna kind of like flush them out and start them out so that when you're doing yours, you kind of have an idea of what's going on. So I already have this elevation kind of sort of started right here, don't I? So I'm gonna put my kitchen elevations over here off to the right. So I'm just gonna start this process by taking this and copying it. Let me put my ortho on here, and I'm gonna copy it over here. So our elevations for our kitchen are gonna be over here. Okay, so I've got one elevation. That's this one. I need this. I'm sorry. I have this elevation, this side elevation. I need this elevation down here, and then I need this elevation over here. So I'm gonna, just to make things clearer for me, because all of these lines over here are a little bit confusing for me. So I'm gonna just freeze some of these layers here, just temporarily, so that things are a little clearer for me. Okay, so now I want to get this elevation over here. All right, so I'm going to copy this portion of the plan and I'm going to put it way over on the right. So let me go to copy and I'm going to just select, maybe I'll just select this line right here too, just so I know where that is. And I think I think that's probably good. So I'm just gonna copy this way over here and put it more or less here. Now, when we're doing this, we want to rotate this so that, like on here, when we're standing here and looking up, we're inside the room. So if I'm standing right here where my cursor is, I'm looking at the millwork over here. Here, if I'm standing here, I'm looking at the wall. I'm not looking at the millwork. So what I got to do is I need to rotate this plan view here. We put my ortho on. So I think that'll be fine. And I'm not being too careful with this because if you remember, these are just guidelines for me to flush out my elevations over here. All right, so let's get the last one, and that is this one here with the pantry, and then this is the double stacked oven over here. So let me copy this area right over here. I think I've got it. And I'm going to put that over here. And then again, I want to rotate this. And I want to rotate it such that when I'm standing here, I'm looking up at the elevation. So I'm looking up at this pantry millwork, and I'm looking up at this double oven over here. Okay, I think that's going to be enough to get me started. So now, last week, when we were doing the elevations and we were looking at the line weights, I was not happy. I just thought that maybe the line weights were a little bit heavy, and then we started tweaking within the viewport to make them lighter. And let's see, I made these lines extra heavy, and I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna make them just plain old heavy, I think, instead of extra heavy, a detail heavy. I think that is just gonna read a little bit better. So I'm just gonna go around. I'm using match properties here to go and change all of these exterior. I don't really need to change these because I'm gonna get rid of that, but just the perimeter lines around the around my elevations, I'm gonna change from extra heavy to heavy. All right, so now let's block out this elevation over here. I have this one kind of set up for me, so let me go to my A detail heavy layer, and I'm gonna draw a line, and I'm just gonna use object snap tracking. I'm just gonna hover over that endpoint and then go across and then draw a line for the floor for this elevation. And I'm not being too careful, as you can see. I'm just kind of blocking that in, and then I will clean it up in a minute with the fillet tool or whatever. So now I'm going to go over to the corner of the room and draw some verticals. This is just like we did last time when we were doing the family room elevations there. So now I've got that. That looks good. And then I'm going to use fillet to clean up these four corners. Then I will have this elevation blocked out. Okay, so now let's do this one over here. So again, you know what I'm going to do this time? I will, just to keep things different and fresh for you, I'm going to just take these lines and I'm going to copy them over. And then I will pull this down and this down here. And actually, I had the hallway extended out over here. It'd be nice to show that hallway. Do I show it on the other drawing? No, I don't. I show it started. So this will be fine. All right, and then I'll just use fill it again and just clean up these here. All right, so there are my three elevations blocked out, and I'm going to do a save as at this point, and I'm going to rename my drawing. Mine right now is named Paul Gongola Project 8 Section, and I'm going to rename this like kitchen elevations, just so I can keep my drawings separated in case, something happens and I need to get back to one of them. I know what I'm drawing on what. Okay. So I think where do I start? I think I'll start over here. So let's see what I got over here. So all right. So this is I've got some crown molding here. You may or may not want to do crown molding. I'm going to show it just in case you want to show crown molding. I'll show you how I do it. And then I've got these pantry doors here. I've got top drawers and bottom drawers so that you're not opening up the whole thing at once. I think this probably lines up with the millwork or with the countertop on the other side, so that you have like a continuous datum of drawers at the bottom and drawers at the top. So that's where I'm going to set this. I'm going to set this the same height as I would for the base cabinets on the other elevation, like these cabinets down here. I've got a toe kick down here, and our toe kick is going to be 4 inches high, and then I've got a crown molding that I can make 6 or 8 inches, whatever you think you might want to do. All right, so let's start here. And the first thing I'm going to do is my toe kick, and I'm just going to offset 4 inches. And right away, let me change this to, I'm going to put this on detail light. And so let's do the crown molding. I'll do a 6-inch crown molding. So should I do 6 inches or 4 inches? I'll do five. I'll do five. Offset five. And I'm also so I'm going to draw my crown molding over here, and then I'm going to turn it into a block so that I can use this crown molding repeatedly as I'm working. So to do the crown molding, so mine is 5 inches high, but maybe you want something smaller. Maybe you want four, or maybe you want something much more elaborate, six. It's up to you. But so I am going to go out 5 inches. And then I think I'm going to come down like 1 inch. And then I'm going to come over an inch and then up an inch. So that's sort of the top face of the crown molding, and that is the bottom face. Maybe this is a little heavy. Maybe I'll come down to half an inch down here. And now I'm going to okay, I'm going to try not to design on the fly. All right, so now I'm going to do the curved face or the curved edge of that crown molding. And that sort of that S-shaped curve is called an ogee, O-G-E-E. And so I am going to draw that, and I'm just going to use my spline fit to do that. So I'm going to come here. Let me turn my ortho off, and I'm just going to No, that's not too bad, actually. If I wanted to play with this, I could pull these down. But you know what? I think that's going to be just fine. Okay, so I wanted to turn this crown molding into a block, and to do that, I want to change this all to layer 0, as you already know. Because whenever we're drawing a block, we want all of our line work to be on layer 0. And then I will type in block, and I'll give my block a name, and I will cleverly call this crown molding. Give it a base point, and I'm just going to pick this back corner right here, and then select the objects and hit OK. And there is my crown molding. So this crown molding happens to be drawn on the heavy line weight, and for now, I think that's going to be okay.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
I had a question about which elevation are you doing first? Is it the one facing the doorway or is it the dishwasher one?
No, this is the one with the double oven. I'm doing this one.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. So when I am so this is the profile, the side of my crown molding, and then I'm going to see this face in elevation. So I'm just going to draw like a line straight across there and a line straight across here. And that is just this edge and this edge of the crown molding. And I'm going to put this on my extra light line weight. Okay, good. That looks good. So now let's do the millwork over here. So I have 3 pieces of millwork, and let me come down, and I'm just going to kind of draw those. And I think at this point, I don't want to be on my heavy line weight. I think I want to be on my light line weight. So I'll change these in a second. And I'm going to make my light line weight current so that when I am drawing, I will be drawing on my light line weight. Okay, so let me flash back to this. So these will be these three doors here, and then my double oven will fit over here. Okay, so first let's trim this business out here. So if I go to trim, right, and I want to trim this out, I will trim this, and then I have to come down and trim it off the crown molding, and it's a pain in the backside. So when I go to trim, there is a cutting edges option right here. And if I click cutting edges, what AutoCAD will do is it'll cut against whatever line or whatever edge I tell it to. So if I choose the bottom of the crown molding, this line right here, and then I can select multiple edges, but I'm done. So I'm done. I'll just hit my space bar. And then I can select these lines. It'll cut all the way down to that cutting edge that I selected. Looks like I selected the wrong edge. So let me do that again. That's because I was pulled back too far and I was talking and not paying attention. Okay. All right. So now I want the bottom drawers to be the same height as my base cabinet drawers over here. So I already have this base cabinet flushed out over here. So let's just use this as a guide. There we go. So now these will be my base cabinet drawers, and then these are my lower drawers, and these will be my upper drawers. And we'll have that joint that is continuous, the same height running all the way around. So, all right, so I want to trim out this piece, and it's the same deal, right? I can come here and trim this section, then this, then this, then this. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click cutting edges, and then I'll select this edge, and then everything to the right of this edge or to the left of that edge will be trimmed. So I'm done selecting edges. So I'll just hit my space bar and then just click on that line, and that's all cut out. Okay. So now, all right, let's now think about the treatment. So you may just want to have a flat front, or you may want to do something like this. So I'm gonna just do, stiles and rails on these doors. And oh boy, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. I'll show you the way that I like to use the rectangle tool to do it. But you can O track over 3 inches and then draw down and go across. But I'll just show you the way I do. And I don't know, there may be faster or easier ways, but this is just how I do it. So I like I'll use the rectangle tool, and I'm literally just going to trace over one of these doors. And then I'm going to offset in 3 inches. My stiles and rails are going to be 3 inches. That's a pretty common size for stiles and rails. And then this line, this original rectangle, I don't need that anymore. So I'm going to select it and delete it. Because all I really wanted was this inner rectangle here. And I'm going to put this on my extra light line weight, because I just don't want this to be like super heavy. This is more, these mark the corners of the doors, the edges of the doors, and this is just sort of a detail on the door. So I'm showing that extra light. And then I want to extend the style. The stiles are the vertical part, and the rails are the hor is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. Stiles are the vertical part and the rails are the horizontal part. So I want to extend my stiles vertically. So, but I can't because there's a rectangle. So I'm just going to explode the rectangle. The explode, in case you don't know, is just the letter X for explode is the keyboard shortcut. And if you explode it, then these become 4 separate lines. And then I am just going to extend, and I like using my trim tool and then holding my shift to extend. And there is my first door. And you know what? While I'm at it, and you don't have to do this because, in fact, if you don't want to put hardware on your doors, you can put the hardware in when we're doing it in Photoshop if you prefer. But I'm gonna drop in some hardware here just for the heck of it. So I'm just gonna do like a rectangle here. I don't know. I'm just kind of winging this. And also, I'll make sure that that is on my extra light line weight. Okay, so one door done. So now let's do this door. So I could do the exact same thing that I did with this door. Draw the rectangle, offset it, explode it, extend the ends, draw the door handle. But what I'm going to do is sort of a lazy guy's way out, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to mirror it. So I've got that, and then I'm just going to use this as my mirror line, and I'm going to go straight up like this. Array source objects, no. And so there I have the top door, but I need to extend it up over to here. So I could do it a couple ways. I could move this, but I'm going to use stretch. Stretch is a tool that I don't use all that much, and maybe you don't either. So this is actually a perfect opportunity to use stretch. So when I'm using stretch, I select objects using a crossing window. So I don't actually select objects. I use a crossing window. And remember, that's the green rectangular window. So anything that is inside the green rectangular window will be moved. So the ends of the vertical lines, they'll get moved all the way up to the top, up to the crown molding. And that horizontal rail line, that will get moved up to the top. And then anything that is outside of the green line will stay where it is. So even though these vertical lines are extending beyond outside, down here they will be anchored. They will stay down there. So I'm just going to choose that and those lines with my stretch tool. And then I'm done selecting objects, so I'll just hit my space bar. And then I need to pick a base point. So I'm just going to pick the end point of this line right here. And then stretch it straight up, right to the bottom of my crown roll, like perpendicular to it. And look at that. I've got my door without really drawing it. Okay, so now let's put in the other doors. So how do you want to do it? You can have the doors the same, or I'm going to do double doors, and then I'll have another door over here. So if I'm going to have double doors, I'm going to mirror these. So I'm going to go to mirror, and I will choose that, and I'll choose this. I'm being careful not to get the yellow lines here. I'm just getting the inside detail lines of my doors. Done selecting objects. Base point will just be just the corner of the door. Oh, you know what? I'm moving rather than mirroring. Oh dear. All right, let's try it again. Not a big deal. Boom. Hey, that's looking good. All right, so let's get this last door in here. And so depending on which way you want it to swing, I think I'm going to have it swing out this way. But if you want to swing it another way, that's up to you. You can, but I'm going to do it this way. So I'm just going to copy. I think I'm using copy. No, I'm using move. So let's do copy. And I'll just pick one corner I'm just going to choose the lower left-hand corner of this door, and then I will use the lower left-hand corner of that door. And I'm done. So and look at that. Just like that, our, we have our millwork flushed out. Very nice. Okay, so let's think about this double oven over here. So let's see if I can find it. So let me go over to my blocks. Here are my CAD blocks, and I'm hoping I can find them. Appliances, I think. Appliance kitchen. And here it is. Here's the double oven. So I'm just gonna pull it right in. So it came in on my A detail light layer. I probably want that on my extra light layer. So I'm gonna just go match properties, put it on extra light. And you know what? While I'm here, this is the side of the oven door, and I'm going to use that on the other elevation. So I may as well just bring that in as well. So you can see, like, here's the knob, the control knob up here, and here it is, the side view of the knob. And then this is the handle that's pulling the oven door down. There's the handle sticking out, same down here. So this is just kind of the side view of the oven there. And should I bring in the rest of my stuff? So I'm here. So let's just bring in the rest of it. What the heck? So here, right here, this is the range. or the cooktop, and let me bring that in. And there should be a refrigerator. There's a bunch of refrigerators here. So if your predilection not to use the refrigerator, the Sub-Zero refrigerator, have at it. You use one of these. I'm fine with it. So this is the Sub-Zero here. I'm going to bring that one in too, just so I got them all. I think oh, there's a oven hood. So there's a square oven hood over here, and there is this one, this tapered one, and I'm going to bring that one in here too. And if you don't want to use the range, the cooktop, this is like a built-in cooktop. Here is a full oven right here. So do take a look at these because some of them might strike your fancy. All right, for now, I'm just going to close this. If I need to get back to it, I can get back to it pretty easily. And while I'm here, I'm just going to put them all on my extra light limelight. Okay, so let's move this into place over here. So I've got a drawer here. And so let me just think about this. So where do I want the bottom of my range? So I probably want it 18 to 24 inches. I don't have a tape measure here. 18, probably 18 inches. Let's look at 18 inches above the floor for this drawer here. Probably this is a good place for pots or pans or something like that. And then we'll put the double oven over it. So, what did I say? 18 inches. So I'm going to just kind of draw a line. I'm going to O-track up 18 inches. Let's see how that, oops. Okay. So, so this is not working. My O-tracking is really giving me wonky problems here. So what's the problem? And this may happen to you. If this happens, it's an easy solution. And I mentioned it before. If you go over to your O snaps and aha, my nearest is turned on. If you are working with uh, O tracking and nearest, they do not get along. So I am just going to uncheck nearest, and now hopefully my O tracking will work for me. So again, I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to O track up 18 inches. So that's going to be my drawer for my pots or whatever, and then I'm going to put my oven above it. So, should I put it in the oven or should I do the pots? Let's just do the pots. So I'm going to do the pots the same way that I did these, and I'm just gonna do this one from scratch. Now, I'll tell you what, if your goal is to paint your millwork, or use maybe laminate or something like that, then you won't see this joint. So you don't really need to extend them if you're gonna do paint. But if you're gonna do, I'm gonna do a wood grain. So I need to see that because the wood grain for the vertical pieces, is gonna run this way, and the wood grain for the horizontal pieces is going to run horizontally. So I need to treat them differently. So that is why I have this vertical line separating them. But if your goal is to paint your millwork, you don't really need to do that because you're not going to see that joint. You're not going to see a change in the direction of the grain of the wood. Okay, so now I'm going to move this so that the midpoint of it is right at the midpoint of this little line here. So move, I'm going to select this oven, and I'm assuming this is right at the midpoint right there. And I'm going to move it to the midpoint of this. And so there is a little bit of a gap here and a little bit of a gap here. And that's what we want. You want that. You need to have that little filler piece on either side of the oven. So that's drawn just the way we want it. And then up here, I'm gonna have a I want some millwork doors over here. So I'm gonna just draw a line straight across here, and then I'll just extend it. So I can either use the trim tool or extend and then extend this yellow line to here, or another way, I just like to show you alternate ways to do stuff, is just to click on the line and then just grab the grip and extend it over that way. And then I'm going to have two doors up here, I think. So I'll just draw for the two doors and then do the same thing, the same treatment for those doors. I'm not going to do that, but and I think um that that kind of works. So we have this hallway. So the hallway is over here. Then this hallway goes, if you remember, there's a closet and a laundry room and a powder room, and then stairs that go downstairs. And when we did this elevation, so this is that same hallway. And so on the other side of this line, that's our kitchen that we're drawing right now. So no, I was gonna take this and copy it, but I'll draw it from scratch. So what I want to do is I want to draw the ceiling and I want to draw the floor. I'm just going to extend it out a little bit. And I want the ceiling and the floor to be on my extra heavy or on my heavy line weight. And then I'm just going to do that break symbol here. AutoCAD is cutting corners here, so I'm going to regenerate my drawing. If I type REGEN, if you watch my crown molding, now it's curvy again. So AutoCAD tries to make life easy for itself. So circles and curved lines like this, it will often facet them in order to do less calculating. It's just trying to make its life easier. But I want to see that curve. So if you regen, you're telling AutoCAD, hey, do it the way, show the curves, and it will. All
Hey,
right.
Paul,
Yeah.
what was the dimension of the crown molding again? The like height of it?
My dimensions here,
Correct.
the total height was 5 inches.
Okay,
And
thank you.
yeah. But if you want to make yours more or less, that's up to you, But five is a fairly common, 5 or 6 or 4 are common sizes for crown molding. Okay, so I'm on my Express tools now, and I'm going to go over to my break line symbol here. And I am just gonna, let me turn my ortho off here. I'm just gonna draw a little break line, comme ça. Location for the break line, midpoint, and that looks good. Now, if your break line, if your little squiggle here on your break line is too big or too small, you can go to your break line and then you can go to size down here. So my size is set to 5, but if yours is set to something else, 1 or 10 or something like that, you can change the break line symbol size and it will make this bigger or smaller. All right, I'm just going to trim that like that, and I think I am done. Not done, but done. Done enough. Okay, so let's move on to this guy over here. So I have the first thing I'm going to draw is this doorway, or not doorway, but just passageway that goes from our kitchen here to the living room or the existing building back here or the existing living room back here. So if I go back to here, the kitchen is here, and then this is that opening, and then the living room is here. Hey, by the way, while I'm here, and I totally forgot, I had frozen a couple layers, and I want to get those layers back. So let me open up my layers palette for a moment. And if you remember last time, I think this is the button, we did, yeah, layer states. We did a layer state. We set a default layer state and when we were doing our elevations. So I made some changes to the layers here. So I'm just going to go back to my default layer state. So I'm just checking on that, and then I'm going to come down here and click on restore, and hopefully they will restore, and indeed they have. So now if I want to go back to, like, my other drawings, my lighting plan and my furniture and these other plans, the layering will be correct. Okay, so back to the show. All right, so I have this little opening here, and I'm just gonna come down, and I am gonna mark the sides. These are the sides of the opening. And then how high do I want my opening? Probably 7 feet. What is the height of our thing is 8 feet. So I'm just gonna draw a little line 7 feet across. And then I will fill it or trim. So, okay, so let's think about this. So I don't want, I want this detail heavy to be the perimeter. That is the heaviest line on this elevation. And then the next heaviest line are major penetrations through the wall, like this doorway. So I'm gonna put this on, first of all, it's on a glazing layer, so I don't want that. I'm going to put that on my medium line weight here, so the green. And then all of my millwork, like I did over here, I'm going to put it on my A detail light, and then all the details stuff I'm going to put on my extra light over here. Okay, so let's start over here, and then we'll move across to the right. So what am I seeing over here? So I'm seeing the side of this millwork, right? So this millwork goes across like that. And then the pantry doors are here. The three pantry doors are here. I'm standing here looking at it. But when I'm here, I'm looking at the side. So let me make this layer current. I'm changing to my A detail light layer. So I want to see the side of this millwork pantry. So let's just draw that line. Now I could have just drawn the line straight down, but what I did was I O-tracked down to here and then just drew the line down from there. Okay, good. And now there's gonna be a toe kick down here. And then I'm going to have my crown molding running up here. So I've got that crown molding profile over here. So I'm just going to mirror this. So it's way over there, but that's okay. I can move this to here. And I am going to change this to my A detail medium or light line weight. And then these are just those details of the crown molding here, those straight corners. So there's a corner right here, and that's what this line represents. There's a corner down here where this curved and the vertical meet. That's this line. And then there's the bottom of the crown molding. and that is going to be this line. And I'll just trim out this. And I'm going to put this on my extra light line. Okay, so all right, I'm seeing, okay, so this is a little bit weird up here because I have this line here. So I can do one of two things. I can either edit the block, and that I think is what I'm going to end up doing, but and then just take out this top line because I don't want to have these two lines on top of each other because when I'm plotting this out, this is going to be a heavy line and then it's going to get lighter and then heavier. And I don't want that. I want this to be continuously heavy. So I can either change the change the block to remove this top piece here, and that probably is what I'm going to do. But I just want to show you another way, and that is to change the order of the lines and to bring this line to the front. And to do that, see if I can find it here. There, if I go over to my modify palette over here and click on this little down arrow here, there is a little button right here, which is the to change order. And right now, this is to bring it to the front. But what I want to do, well, that is what I want to do. I want to take this heavy line and bring it to the front so that it's on top of this line. So I'm just going to click on that. And now you can see, you can sort of still see that line, but this line is on top of it. So I just wanted to show you that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this block and just remove this top line. I don't need to see that because this is always going to be up against the ceiling. So to edit the block is I'm just going to select the block and then right click on it. And you can either go to block editor or edit block in place. I generally like edit block in place. I don't know why, I just do. Just my thing. And then I'm just going to take that line and I'm going to delete it. So now my block is just this much. All right, save my changes. There. Let's look at this one over here. What happened over here? Aha, over here. So now I don't have that line. Not a problem. I'll just take this line and extend it over there. Easily fixed. Okay, so there is my lovely crown molding. Let's put in our toe kick. If you remember, a toe kick is usually 4 inches up. And I think in this case, we pulled it back 3 inches. And then I need to just draw. So, all right, so this is up to you. Do you want the toe kick to turn the corner? If you do, then you would draw this line. If you want the side panel to just go boom, flat, all the way to the floor, then you would not show that line. So up to you, your choice, whatever makes you happy. So there is the side of my, you could put a uh, little bulletin board or calendar on the side. I mean, I'm certainly not going to do that. I don't expect you to do that either. But this is the clean side of our millwork over here. The only thing that's missing is that the side of the double oven that we're going to see, which is over here. So I need to move this, but where to move and place it over here, but where? So I'm just going to draw a guideline here, a messy old guideline. And then I'm going to move this so that the top of it is more or less, well, I've moved it there, and then I'm going to move it back so that the side of the doors, these are the doors sticking out, they are extending out outside of the millwork pantry. And then I don't need that guideline anymore, so let me just erase that. And I think I am.
Hey Paul, wait, really quick, how high up was that guideline you drew?
Well, what I did was I drew the guideline. I used the top of the oven over here or the bottom of this millwork. So I just drew the guideline from the top of the oven over here and I went straight across.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So I just kind of did it graphically, not numerically. Okay, so now let's move over to here. I have a built-in uh, refrigerator here, Sub-Zero refrigerator, and I guess that's a Sub-Zero refrigerator, the complicated door handles there. And so it's built in. So what I've got here is on this side, I I have some millwork over here. So that when you're coming into the kitchen, you're not seeing the side of the refrigerator. I mean, if you want to see the side of the refrigerator, more power to you. You don't need this. But this is going to be built in. So I am going to put some millwork over here. So I'm going to have like a little piece of millwork in the front over here. And I really should have some millwork over on this side too, because I can see this side of the refrigerator here. So I should have a millwork piece that extends back over here as well. So let me do, you know what? Let me do that. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna mirror this right on the midpoint of my refrigerator. And then so now this is the side of the right side of the refrigerator. So when you're standing here and you're prepping food or whatever, these are your wall cabinets above. And when you look to the left, you'll see, you know, a nice millwork edge rather than the side of the fridge. Okay, so let's draw that. And I'm gonna just kind of do the same thing. I'm gonna come down and draw a bunch of guidelines. Hey, you know what I'm gonna do? So I'm gonna, rather than keep drawing guidelines here, I am gonna just take this guideline and I'm gonna copy it. Now, you don't have to do this. You can draw the guidelines. That would be totally fine. But I'm gonna just copy these guidelines so that they are coming down and they are gonna mark the two sides of my refrigerator over here. All right. Let me trim all of this out and I'm just going to trim and I'm just going to use a crossing window, trim that out. And then I'm going to have my crown molding extend over on this side as well. So it's right here, you know, so let me mirror, I'm going to mirror this, I think. And I'm just going to eyeball a mirror line here. Uh, I don't have to get too exact because then I can just move this into place. And let's mirror it on this side as well. I think I've got this. I think I've got this in the wrong spot. Okay, so now let's just extend these lines to here. Uh, Trim, hold my shift key. And then I'll just trim out this stuff here. Or I could use a cutting edge. That probably would have been faster, but I didn't do it. So, okay, good. I think I'm happy. let's now place our fridge in here. And I want to center my fridge within this opening, this refrigerator opening here. And so if I'm going to center it, I think I'm just going to draw a line right at the midpoint, guideline for myself. And then I'll move this from the midpoint of the fridge to here. That's actually pretty darn good. And there we go. Done. I could, if you wanted, you could draw a little line that goes across here, and that would be like a little panel that would, fit in here. So these could continue to extend up. And if this is like a wood grain, if this is wood grain, this probably extends up. And then the wood grain extends up and vertically. You'd have vertical grains on the two sides. And then this would probably have horizontal grains over here. So that's why I'm just gonna leave these lines. In fact, I think I'm gonna change these to light lines here. Okay. So, all right. So my countertop is going to be over here. This is my opening to my living room. And if you and this is totally fine, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, I know, I'm just being Mr. Designer here. And I'm like, no, I kind of like so I have like a little wall over here, and I think maybe I want to have a little wall over here and make this opening maybe just a little bit smaller, just so that this opening is centered between, these two elements of millwork here. So what have I got over here? It looks like I've got 1 foot 1 over on this side. What if I just offset 1 foot 1? And again, you can or not do this. It's up to you, but I'm just kind of showing you some options here. So now, now my opening into my living room is maybe that looks a little better. Maybe I'm a little more happy with that. But if you like the bigger opening, that more power to you. And you know what? If you like a real bigger opening and you want to go all the way across, or you want this whole thing to be open, that would be fantastic too. Go for it. Do it. So up to you. All right. So let's look at the millwork over here. So I'm gonna start, I think, with my countertop. So the countertop's gonna extend full across. I already have a countertop over here. So let's just use this countertop as a guideline and go to there. And because why measure it? We've already drawn it. And then I'll just trim this business here. Ta-da, there's our countertop. Let's draw our floor base. Actually, you know what? Before I draw my floor base, I want to draw the side of this counter. So this counter is an L shape, if you remember, right? We've got this, and then it comes out this way. We've got our sink over here. And these lines, by the way, indicate like a section or cut through the millwork. You can or not show it. I generally don't like to show it. I don't know it just because it just looks nicer without it. But technically, I guess if we were doing technical drawings, we would show those diagonals. Uh, but so I need to draw this profile of this sink right over here, or this base cabinet. So, all right, I need to draw it, but wait a minute. I already got it over here. So let's not draw it. Let's copy it. Let's mirror it. Or if you rather draw it, go for it. Okay. I'm not saying that you have to mirror it. I'm really not. It's up to you. So I mirrored it. It's way over here. And I'm just going to quickly grab this and just move it back here. So there is the side profile. And then these, I should have probably drawn these after I put that in. So I'm just going to shorten these lines. All right. So what layer have I got this on? Medium. I'm going to I'll leave it on medium. I'll leave it on medium. And then you know what? If I find later on that it is when I'm previewing it and it's too heavy or it looks wonky, I'll change it to light. But I'm going to leave it at medium because it's sticking out toward us. It's sticking out into the room. This is pushed a little further back. So I will things that stick out that protrude way out are going to be on a heavier line weight or major holes in the walls, like a window or this opening here, that I'll use a heavier line weight for that as well. Okay, good. So now let's do let me do my toe kick, and I'm going to put that on. I'll leave that on my light line weight, and so now the millwork. All right, I'm going to start with the wall cabinets and my my opening here for the fume hood and the cooktop. So I'm getting some guidelines here. And actually, what I should have done first was the horizontals. But so so I'm going to have wall cabinets over here, and I'm going to have wall cabinets over here. And the bottom of my wall cabinet is going to be right with the bottom of this wall cabinet over here. So I'm just going to extend over and maybe do some trimming here. All right. So then this wall cabinet or this base cabinet is coming across. Let's look at the elevation here. And then it's turning the corner so the wall cabinet is sort of extending out. I think there was that little spice rack or something. And then this is this wonky corner cabinet over here. And you know what? I am not a fan of the corner cabinet over here. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If you love the corner cabinet, by all means, keep the corner cabinet. But I am going to get it out of my design. So I'm going to have a wall cabinet over here, and then I'm going to have 2 or 3 wall cabinets over here. And that's just my design. That's just what I'm going to do. So let's I need the profile of this or the side of this wall cabinet, and I can either bring a line down here and clean that up there, or I can take this one and mirror it just like I did before. Either way would be fine. It's totally up to you. So I just mirrored that, and I'm just going to bring it straight across. So that's the side of the wall cabinet. That is the side of the base cabinet and the countertop. And then these are the fronts of the base cabinets over here. All right, let's put in our range over here, our cooktop. So let me find the midpoint. I want the cooktop to be centered on this opening here. I think I'm gonna just draw like a guideline here. And then I'm just gonna draw a guideline like this. What I really want is just the center guideline here. So I drew this horizontal one just to get the midpoint, and then I just drew a vertical guideline. I know I'm going a little bit fast, but hopefully, not too fast. Okay, so let's move this generally into place. So now let's look at this. So these are the burners. You can see there's three burners here. There's one here and one here and one here. And those, generally speaking, you want those to be well, I guess it depends on the stove. Sometimes they're recessed down, but often they're sitting on top of the bottom of the burner is flush with the top of the of your countertop, so that cleaning is easier. But there are also sometimes top of the top of the counter is up here, and the burner is sort of set in. But I'm going to show this so that the burners are on top of the counter. So I'm going to move this straight down. So I'm going to choose like a point right here. And I'm going to go straight down perpendicular to my countertop. So now the burners are sitting on top of the counter. At least that's my interpretation. If your interpretation is something else, like they should be down here, that's okay too, but I'm going to leave mine up like this. So what I want to do is I want to trim out the countertop in front of my cooktop here. So let me use trim, and I am going to select cutting edges again here because there's a lot of edges. I'm hoping this is going to work. Yeah, I think it will. So I'm going to choose these edges here. And then I'm done selecting edges, so I'll just hit my space bar, and then I'll just choose that and that. I'm getting rid of the countertop. So the countertop is butting up to the cooktop over here, and then it's butting up to the cooktop over here. Then I'm going to have some millwork below it. And let me trim out the center. You know what? The center line is actually going to be helpful because I've got oh no, I'm going to do drawers here. So let me get rid of that. So I'm going to do drawers. So I'm just going to go from midpoint across. If you don't want to do drawers, you don't have to do drawers, but I'm just going to do some drawers here. So very, very quickly, I'm going to use my rectangle tool, offset 3 inches. I'm at a point now where I'm thinking that I'm boring you all, so I'm going I'm going quicker. I'll explode this, use my trim tool, and hold shift to extend. And then let's put a little handle here. So I want to move that handle so that it's exactly centered. So I'm going to go from the midpoint of the handle to the midpoint of that little line, and then I'll move it straight up. And I'll put it on my extra light layer. And then, so there's my bottom drawer, right? And then I will just copy this up and hopefully I've done everything right. So now I have 2 drawers. Okay, so crown molding. I need to be diligent here, so I need to copy my crown molding. Over. I'll trim this. And I'll extend this. And just draw these little lines. And I'll put them on my extra light layer. Lovely. And I've got crown molding over here as well, don't I? So let's I'm gonna let's mirror this. And I'll copy this crown molding so that it is going to here as well. Trim. I'm going to use a cutting edge here. And then I'll just extend these.
Hey Paul,
Yeah.
this might be a weird question. I know we have the other oven, but why would you put a cooktop there and not just put a full oven?
Because as the designer, I want to do that.
Okay.
That's a really good, valid question. But so a lot of times like these cooktops, sometimes this one has a burner, but some like induction ovens, so or induction cooktops. Very often there's no oven underneath them. It is just a cooktop. And you put like I just did my sister's kitchen down in Atlanta, and they put in an induction cooktop, and it's similar to this, where it's just sort of sitting on top, and then they just have millwork underneath. So if your predilection is to put in a full stove, yes, that is fine to do that. You may certainly do that. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, yeah. Good question. So, all right. What else? Let's put in the vent. So I'm just going to draw a guideline from this center line here, and the vent is here. So where to bring it down here? So generally speaking, what I do is let's just look at what the dimension is here. Right now, yeah, that's 18 inches. Um, I generally like to have above the stove at least 24 inches, but sometimes even 30 inches. I just like to have a lot of room when, so that when the distance from the top of the stove to the bottom of the fume hood, if it is too if it's too short, you can't see what you're cooking, or you're bumping your head on the vent. So I will generally have at least 2 feet, sometimes more. So let's see what 2 feet is like. So I'm gonna just kind of, I don't know how to do this. I guess I'll just track up 2 feet, go across. Uh, that's probably okay. You could make it 2'6". If I move this 6 inch, oops, if I move this up 6 inches. Yeah, maybe that's where I want to put it. So let me center my cooktop on that center line and then bring it down to that guideline. And I'll leave my cooktop there. So what I made mine 2'6". But if you want to lower it, you want to make it 2 feet. If you don't want one at all, you're the boss. This is your design. Now, I am not loving the fact that my wall cabinets are literally butting up to my fume hood here. That's not making me happy. So I think I'm going to move my cabinets over a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. I just think that it's going to look a little better. So how much? I don't know. Let's say 4 inches or 6 inches. I'm gonna move it 6 inches. So a lot of ways I can do this, but I think the best way is to use stretch again. So I'm gonna click on stretch and I'm gonna grab with the crossing window. Remember, not the selection window, but the green crossing window. I'm gonna just sort of select this. And I don't think that fume hood is gonna move, even though it's in my crossing window. I'm going to pick a base point just out here, and I'm just going to go over about, let's say 6. Maybe I should have made it 4. So let me undo that. Let me stretch. I can find stretch. Yeah, I think that's better. And I'm going to stretch over on this side too. It's just as gives me, if I put some tile on this wall, I think it's going to look a little nicer. So I think I'm going to be happy with that. So let me draw the shaft of my fume hood here. Put it on my light line weight. And I think that's good. So I can do 2 doors over here. What if I, or 2 doors over here? What if I wanted 3 doors? What if I just wanted 3 doors? Like over here. So, okay, so 2 doors over here, maybe that's what I want. And then let's put in, I'm just going to show 3 doors just to show you. So I want 3 evenly spaced doors right here. And the width of this total is, oh my gosh, 3'0" and 15/16. So okay, so I could cheat a little bit and I could do each one could be 1 foot. Actually, 1 foot is pretty narrow. But I think I'll do two doors there. Let's see 3 doors over here. So I've got 3'9". So let's say I don't want to do the math. And I want to divide this into 3 equal doors. So what I can do is I can use divide. And I don't, at least in my CAD 1 class, this is a command we did not use. But I don't use it often, but it is a good tool to divide things into equal components or equal measures. So the command is divide, D-I-V-I-D-E. And it's asking me for the object to divide, and I'm going to just use this because it's going all the way from here to here. So I'm going to divide this. And now it's asking the number of segments. So I am going to divide it into 3 segments. So I'm just going to type in 3 and enter. So what has it done? I'm just going to move just temporarily. I'm just going to move this line. So you can see that what it's done is, hopefully you can see this, it has put a little dot here and a little dot here. It's called a node. And it is in AutoCAD, it's that's what it's called, but it's literally a dot. So I want to move that line back down. And those nodes are at third points right here, and they are dividing this into 3 equal sections. So now I can use my line tool and find that node and snap to that node. I'm not snapping to the node, so let me go down to my O snaps down here, and oop, look at that node right here. And if I click on it, now it will find, there it is, there's the node. And I can come up perpendicular and come up perpendicular, and I have divided into 3. So if I'm just showing this to you in case you would like to do that, if you'd like to divide your cabinets into 3 equal cabinets, that is a great way to do it. And then I generally, just as good practice, I will erase those nodes. So I'll just go to my eraser tool and I'll just use a selection window, because you can barely even see them, but you can see that it's selected two objects, and then I'll just hit enter. And now those nodes are gone. So, all right. Drawers. So if I want to have drawers here, drawers are generally 6 inches. So I can offset down 6 inches here and offset down 6 inches here. So if I want, and so what would happen here is, generally speaking, you would have like a little trim piece at the corner. So I'm just going to draw like a little line here that's going down. And that trim is going like right from the extension, where the countertop is extending out. So if I want to have 2 drawers over here, I can do that, and I can divide this into 2 base cabinets down here. I think I kind of have this flushed out. I think you kind of get the gist. So let me just kind of, this one's got, a pull out over here. It's got drawers. I'm not sure why this is going all the way to the top. This might actually be a trash disposal. So generally speaking, if you've got like a trash can in your millwork and it pulls out, it will there won't be a drawer above that, generally speaking. But so this has got some doors and drawers and kind of doing its thing. Let's look at the last one. If I can find it. So this is the other elevation, and this is showing. You remember there's those 2 spice racks here on the 2 sides, and that's what these are. You may or may not want to do those spice racks. That it's totally up to you. But my preference would be just to do 1 wall cabinet here. I think that would be nicer. So it opens up, opens to the left. This is showing a farmer sink here, or what do you call that sink? Is that what it's called? Um, if you want to do that, great, do it. If you don't want to do that, if you want, just an apron across the front of the sink, and then base cabinet doors underneath it, that's fine. And then over here, we've got another cut line. So when I get over to this portion of the elevation, I'm just going to draw another cut line over here. And in fact, I'm just going to take this cut line here and copy it over there. And then trim all of that out and erase this, and done. Okay, so let's do one more thing and let's just create our fifth sheet. So I'm going to use my interior elevation sheet and I'm going to make a copy of it, I think. So I'm going to right click on it, go over to move or copy, and I'm going to do two things. Click move to end and create a copy, both of those. And then hit OK. And it's going to make an interior elevations 2 sheet for me. So first thing I'm going to do is rename this so it's meaningful to me. And I'm going to call this my kitchen. I can spell kitchen elevations. And while I'm here, I will change this to sheet number 5. And I'll change my sheet title to kitchen elevations. And then I think I will, let me see, let me look at the handout here. What did I make these? We made these elevations, hold on, I think half inch, but let me zoom in. Yeah, half inch. So these are quarter inch. So you know what? I'm gonna blow this away. And maybe we'll reuse this key plan. And let's see what we got going on here. Well, let's see. All right, so I'm going to unlock this viewport and pan over way over here. So the first elevation is, well, you know what? I'm just gonna put them in and then I will arrange them. So this one is going to be half-inch scale. So that's going to be much bigger. Make my viewport a little bigger to fit the whole thing in. And let me lock this viewport. And then I'm going to erase those. And I'm going to erase these. I'll redo them. Okay, so there is one elevation. And let me copy this down. And let's go in here, unlock my viewport, and pan over for the next one. Good. Let me copy this one down. This viewport's not locked. I will have to lock it. As long as I remember to. And let me go in here and find that last elevation. There it is. Okay, so clearly this is messy. So let's move our key plan out of the way for now. And I think I will put this elevation up next to this elevation. And then I'll put this elevation, actually more or less where it is now. I'll put my key plan here or down here.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah?
For some reason, the like hand thing isn't showing on my viewport. Is there a way to show that so I can drag the image?
I'm sorry, what's not showing up?
Like the little hand that you use to drag the images in the viewport.
Oh, like when this hand here.
Yeah.
So all I'm do that's the pan tool, and I'm just holding my mouse wheel down and then panning left and right.
Okay. For some reason, it's not letting me drag it like when I'm in the viewport.
Check if
You're,
it's
you're
unlocked still.
yeah, yes.
It is unlocked. I don't know why it's not showing up.
Are you in white model space?
Yes,
How do you know?
because I'm on a title block and it says model.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So when you're in white model space, you're getting the viewport is highlighted, right? And you get this XY icon in the lower left, and you get these wireframe controls in the upper left. Do you have that in your
Yes,
viewport? You do. And you're in the viewport. You
correct.
hold your mouse wheel down, and you can't pan.
Oh, the wheel. Okay, I
Yeah.
understand. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good. Glad we got it. All right. So I'm I'm manipulating these and trying to get them so that they read nicely on the drawing, because I think they read a little bit sloppily on well, I guess on the other drawing I had the big one on top and then the two underneath, but however you want to do it. The only thing that I would like to do is I like to line my elevations up. And right now I'm in paper space. And if I just draw a guideline, I'm just going to draw a guideline like from this floor of this elevation. And I'm just going to draw straight across. You can see that this elevation is not lined up with that. So I want the floor of this elevation to line up with this guideline that I drew. So I'm just going to move the viewport, and then my base point will be like the floor of the elevation, and then I can go up to the guideline. And then I will just erase this guideline. So I think that looks okay. And then let me move my key plan in place. Let me get rid of this here. I'll move my key plan to like the lower right-hand corner. That's where I normally put key plans. Okay, so now this key plan, I don't need this building section anymore. And it's showing the wrong room. So let me just double click in here and unlock my viewport and carefully pan up to the kitchen area. And let's see, I made that viewport 360. I made this key plan 3/16 of an inch on the handout. So let me make it 3/16 of an inch. If I can find 3/16. Okay, so it's a little bigger. Yeah, I think that's going to be just fine. Uh, okay, now I'm going to lock viewports. Because as I zoom in and out on my drawing, if I'm in white model space, that's going to be It's going to be wonky if my viewport is not locked. It's so important. All right, so however you arrange tastefully on your sheet, either the way I'm doing it now or the way that it is done on the on this handout here. Either way is totally, actually, this doesn't look too bad. So you want to make sure that you label each of the elevations, and then you want to make sure that you have your elevation marks and they are correctly shown. So for this particular drawing, elevation 1 on sheet 5 is pointing to this elevation, the one with our cooktop, the one with our refrigerator, the one with the opening. So if I come back to here, elevation 1 indeed has the opening, the fridge, and the cooktop. So make sure as you put these in, they are facing in the correct direction and they have the right numbering. So as a recap, the top number is the detail number on the sheet, and the bottom number is the sheet number. So all of our details, all of our elevations are on sheet 5. So they will all end with a 5. The bottom will always be 5 on them. But there'll be a 1, 2, and 3, and depending on how you arrange your how you arrange your elevations, that will the number will, will change. So flush out your elevations, put them on a sheet 5, turn in your AutoCAD drawing, and if you don't have Photoshop, hopefully you all have Photoshop installed, but if you do not, you need to install it for next week. So let's see here. Let me just go over here and let me go to adobe.com. So at adobe.com, if you don't have an account, you need to create a new one. I'm already signed in, so it will look for a place where it says create an account. Use your College of DuPage email address, and that gives you free access to Adobe products. And then once you have your account, sign in, and then you can either, there's two ways I think you can do this. You can go to account down here and then go to, this is different. Let's see what happens if I click view all plans. No, that's not what I want. No. So sign in and go over here to the left. Like every year they change this and so to purposely keep me in a constant state of confusion, I think. And okay, so here are the Adobe apps, and then just come down here and it should say install. If you don't, if it says, buy or, get it or something like that and pay for it, call the help desk. Just call them up or email them and make sure that give them your name and your email address, and they will get you the Adobe products. I can't do it. I don't have the power to do it. But what happens is at the beginning of the semester, everyone, the roster is sent over to the IT people, and they give everyone access that's on the roster. So, and you should have it, unless maybe you came into the class late. So try to install it either tonight or tomorrow. Okay, do it early so that next week you're not floundering with, oh gosh, I still can't install Photoshop. So this is all you'll need is Photoshop, and we're gonna dive into Photoshop next week.